am Sherry Schwartz, and this is Gentle Somatic Yoga. I'll be leading you through a shorter practice today of about 3 different gentle somatic yoga flows. We'll start by finding a balanced and supported seat. So you might take a moment to just rock side to side or forward and back, feeling grounded through your sits bones. And imagine elongating your spine as you reach the crown of your head toward the sky, connecting sky to the earth. Close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths, sighing it out. This calms your nervous system. Brings you into a sense of balance and connection to your breath and body, which is essential in gentle somatic yoga. So just maybe take another deep breath and sigh it out. And then allow your breath to flow naturally within you. Noticing the inhale and exhale and any qualities of your breath. Now bring awareness to your mind and notice if there is an intention for your practice today. A word or phrase that you could cultivate within you to bring clarity and allow the movements that we're doing to have an intention and allow them to transform just from movements to a full body experience that connects your mind to your breath, to your body. And my intention today is to teach you the basics of gentle somatic yoga. Say that intention to yourself 3 times as you inhale and exhale slowly. When you're ready, blink open your eyes and we'll start to move together. First, kind of warming up and preparing the body for our somatic yoga flows. So first we'll be doing heart opening and slowly taking our time to move into some movements a little bit like a cat and cow in a normal yoga class. But leaning forward, opening that heart and tipping your pelvis forward. You can use your hands on your knees. You might even feel the muscles in your back pulling together a little bit. And then exhaling as you round your spine. Bring your belly in, chin to chest. Maybe rest here for a moment. Noticing any sensations in your body as you start to move. Opening your heart, shining it forward, and rounding your spine. Sit up nice and tall, and we'll bring in another slow movement called the Egyptian. So this is moving side to side. And you'll bring your elbows out to the sides. First leading with one elbow, kind of pulling, imagine pulling your thoracic spine over to the side and then flowing over to the other side. Noticing any tightness or tension and always moving into pleasure as we're doing gentle somatic yoga. The focus is not to stretch so much as it is to really feel into a certain movement and pandiculate into it. So pandiculation is kind of like taking a yawn in the morning. You know, you take that big yawn, a big stretch. You kind of like move into this position for about 2 to 3 seconds, And then we slowly come out of it and just feel, like a little pause or rest out of a stretch like that. So that is pendiculation, and it is intended to connect the brain to body in areas of sensory motor amnesia, so spots in the brain that have forgotten how to move into a place in your body that may hold tension or pain. So we're working to move in these areas to repattern and make that a new neural pathway within our brain to move into these areas of our body. Hi, Miss Dee Dee. It's one of my dogs. So now we're going to integrate both the heart opening and the Egyptian by moving forward. Come on over here. And then off to the side. And then moving back, rounding the spine, moving to the other side, and forward. And then let's reverse that. To the side, rounding your spine, pulling in, feeling that your pelvis kind of tipping back, moving to the other side, and notice any spots that might feel a little stiff. And as always, we're not moving into pain or strain. One more time each way. So this movement is preparing us to repattern the brain to body connection and open up areas in our body, both with our breath and this movement. And then our first gentle somatic flow is going to be foot sliders. So Miss Dee, I need you to move over here so that everybody in our, come on over here, good girl, in our video can see what we're doing. Stay over there, good girl. Okay, stay, and this is Miss Ray. Okay, go to bed. So we're going to start by bringing your feet, bending your knees, bringing your feet in close to you. Your hands come behind you, fingers pressing away from your body. And this will be the position we'll be in for most of this this movement, foot sliders, which is intended to release tension in the neck, actually, even though it looks like we're going to be working on the feet mostly. So to do a pre-test, bring your feet out a little bit farther, and then you can hold on to one wrist here. If that isn't accessible for some reason in your shoulders, you could hold underneath, or even bring your hands here, but just remember whatever position you're in to start. And we're just going to test our range of motion in our neck. So again, just that natural range of motion, looking up and back and stopping wherever your neck just kind of lets you know, like, that's as far as I want to go without pain. Okay, so I marked my spot on the ceiling, and then you can do that, and in the between legs we'll check it again, and then at the end we'll check it a third time, just to become aware of the increase, probably the increase of movement and mobility. So bring your hands behind you, and your feet can come in a little bit farther, and you're resting into your hands, kind of slumping back and down, letting your shoulders and your elbows and hands support you, and rounding your back, so we're not trying to sit up straight here. And then you're going to press one foot out through your foot, sliding it along the ground, and then lift your whole foot up, keeping your heel on the ground, trying to relax through your shoulders and neck. Squeeze your toes down, feeling a stretch on the top of your foot. And then place your foot down with a slight pause, pulling your foot back in. Lift just your toes, spreading your toes out. Place them down and pause. We'll do that 2 more times. So with gentle somatic flows, we often do things in 3s, sometimes up to 5. So lifting your foot, scrunch your toes down, feel into your big toe, your baby toe, and then allow it to come down. Pull your heel back in, lift just your toes, spreading them out. Pause. And whenever we do one of these, when we engage the muscles, so like lifting up the foot and then curling the toes down, we don't want to stay there more than 3 seconds because we don't want to start the stretch reflex, which would just kind of bring tension into the muscles. So still trying to be aware of any secret tension you might be holding up in your shoulders and neck as you're doing this. We'll go over to the other actually, we've done one side, so let's recheck. And my seat is staying in the same place, but I'm just bringing my feet out a little bit and doing that same recheck. And that definitely, I'm not sure if I went a lot farther, but it doesn't. It's more comfortable than it was the first time. So come, bring your hands back again, bringing your feet in. Slide the other foot forward, nice and slow and smooth, lifting your foot, curling your toes. And then we'll try to relax my neck and back. Place your foot back down, pause, slide it back in, pause, just lift your toes, spread them out, lay them down and pause. Slide your foot out again, and then lift your whole foot up, curl your toes, and you're breathing just naturally. Flatten your foot, slide your foot back in, lift just your toes, and pause. Let's do that one more time. Sliding down, releasing any secret tension in your neck and shoulders, upper back, just letting that relax. And slide your foot back in, pause, lift your toes. We just want to slow this down. And release. So now, recheck at the end, holding my wrist, and then looking up. Oh yeah, I increased by several inches, and it didn't feel as stiff as it did the first time. So that's our first flow, and it's always fun to recheck before and after these flows, because the brain learns by contrast, and often after we do just a few rounds of these movements, there's increased mobility or decreased tension that you'll notice. So the next one we're going to do is called swimming frog, and we'll lay on our backs first, and we'll lay off to this angle so you can see me. First, take a body scan and notice how your hips, low back feel, legs, what angle are your feet relaxed in? Does one feel more tense, or higher, lower? Are there any imbalances that you might feel? And then we will start with one leg. So imagine a piece of chalk on the end, or on your heel. And you're just going to draw with that piece of chalk up on the inside of your other leg. So your heel comes up toward your groin. And then you slowly slide it back out, noticing any spots that feel a little shaky or jittery or not smooth. And we're going to work to smooth those spots out. So pulling your heel up toward the inside of your other leg, pressing it back down, smoothing it out, and pause, resting completely at the end. One more time. Bringing your heel up and in. I take a little pause there, and then I press it down and away. Fully relax. And then we're going to bring the heel to the outside. So as if you could touch the back of your heel. And then just slide it back down to neutral. And pause. 2 more times. So another option here would be to come up on your opposite elbow and pull it up behind you. And press it back. 3 times. Fully relax at the end. Let's take another mid-check body scan. So when I started, this leg felt really tense on my low back, and it felt like it was higher. And now it feels lower and just like more, I don't know, integrated. So that feels good. And then we'll go over to the other side, bringing that other heel up and in as if you're drawing a line along the floor on the inside of your leg, and then slowly press it down and away. Pause at the end. Keep that internal awareness so that you're witnessing these movements from the inside of your body instead of as if you're a third person watching from the outside of yourself. Pause at the bottom, and then we'll take one more, lifting it up, and slow and smooth, straightening your leg out. Pause, and then bring your heel up and around to the side, as if you could touch your heel up behind you. Notice how that's changing any sensations in your hip flexors, your quad, your glutes, low back. Bring it back up. Remember again, if it's more accessible for you, you can be up on one elbow and slowly bring it out. One more time. Good. Pause at the very end. Lay down and take that body scan to notice how things are feeling now. They definitely feel more balanced out. Before, one foot was pointed up more and the other one was out to the side, and now they feel pretty equal the way they're laying. Good. So go ahead and roll over to one side. Maybe bring back to mind your intention for this practice. Slowly make your way up to a seated position for our last Gentle Somatic Yoga Flow, which is called the Lighthouse. And I love this one because it really targets so many places in our body. And this is the typical position that we'll be in. If you find any challenges with this position, you can always bring in some bolster, pillow. You could even extend this leg out if that's more comfortable for you. So feel free to make this just right for yourself. And we'll start again with a pre-check. So this is really repatterning all the way from our neck, upper neck. We'll even be using our eyes, down through our spine, hips, pelvis. I even find that it helps with my knees sometimes. So bring your hand, so the same hand that is on the side where your front knee is, bring it back. We'll do a pre-check. And let's do it with the other hand on that knee, just so we make sure we're in the same position before and after. So I'm not really leaning into that hand behind me, it's just lightly supporting me. And then I'm just going to take a gentle twist And today I have a little kink in my neck, so this will be interesting to see how this might help. So take that pre-check, just turning toward the side as far as you can without pain or strain. I also like to close my back eye, this eye that's furthest back, so that it helps me really get a defined spot where I can check where I can see. So it's the edge of this pillow here is what is comfortable for me right here. And then come up to center, bring your hand to your shoulder, and the other hand is resting back behind you. And we're just going to start taking these gentle twists. So as you do this, your opposite hip will kind of roll forward, and you'll be able to go farther back because you're rolling that hip forward. And then see how far you can go back, because sometimes we stop ourselves as long as there's no pain or strain. And then come forward, and you'll be tilting your pelvis back, kind of like a cat position. And maybe even pause here, and we'll be coming through these two positions slowly, as smoothly as possible. Close your eyes, bring your awareness inside, noticing any sensations. Be curious as you look back again. Pull your back shoulder blade behind you, and then maybe the other shoulder blade too. And then release, coming forward, rounding your back. So 4 or 5 times in and out of that. And then this time, as you're doing this, you're going to move your head in the opposite direction. So your shoulders will be moving one way, your head will be looking forward. And then release, so that your head turns to the side as your body comes back into that cat position. So breathing naturally, allowing for this slow movement to help you explore different ways to move in your body. If you find a spot that feels a little stiff, or there's strain, or even at the edge of pain, so I'm going to explore here, because this is where I'm feeling that kink in my neck. I'm right at the edge of that pain, and I'm just going to take some little circles in that area, explore it gently with compassion, not pressing into it, and see if that can help me release a little bit of that. Up and down, side to side, maybe figure eights. So feel free to find your own spot that you'd like to explore. Good. There's several more movements in the lighthouse that we could do, but for the purposes of this video, which is to be under 30 minutes, I will forego some of those movements, but some of them are eye movements where we move back and our head and our eyes, or our chin stays level with our chest, but our eyes move to the other side. And then the other one that I like, that I will forego now, but I'll just explain, is that you can also bring your elbow up and then back and down. So some different options. It can take some time, but even with the little bit that we did so far, let's do a midway or a post check on this side. So my hand is basically in the same spot. I have my other hand here. I'm just lightly resting on it. I'm not dumping down. I'm also not going to really lift this hip up since I didn't for the pre-check. So I'm going to go ahead and look back, close that back eye. I might be, an inch or two farther. And with that kink that's going on, that feels like a little bit more loosened up. So let's go ahead and move over to the other side. And notice this side and how you're seated, and you may need some extra support, or maybe your other side needed it and this side doesn't, because we often have sides that feel differently. So let's do the pre-check. Hand is behind you, the other hand is just resting on your knee. I'm not going to lift this hip up as I check. So twisting toward the back, closing that back eye, and so I could see to this spot right here. And then going ahead, bringing your hand to your shoulder, and then twisting toward the back, lifting your pelvis, or rolling it forward, lifting your hip up. Looking back to my fullest range, pain-free range of motion. Slowly coming forward, letting my pelvis tilt back and my upper back round, resting into this spot. And then lifting up again. We'll do that 3 times on this side. Allowing for this pandiculation to repattern the way that our brain is connected to our body, erasing spots of sensory motor amnesia. Being mindful, moving with intention. Good, and then this time I'm going to allow my head to move in the opposite direction of my shoulders. And looking back as my shoulders come forward. Inhaling up, squeeze your shoulder blades behind you. Rounding, resting. Just take that pause. Good. And then the other option is bringing your hand to your chest and your fingertips to your chin so that your torso is moving all together, but then your eyes are moving in the opposite direction. And you can do this with your eyes closed. And the other option would be having your hand on your shoulder, but lifting your elbow up, and I actually really do love this one. Feels really good in my body. So maybe just taking the time to do that, but for the purposes of this video, we'll continue to move on. And going to the post check, so I still have my hand in that same spot, lightly resting on it with my hand on my knee. And I'll go ahead and look back, and I can, so before I was looking at this spot, and now I can see all the way back to this spot. So that was a significant improvement in mobility, which makes me really excited, because the more we do this, the more we are using neuroplasticity to repattern the way that our body can move with more ease and into those optimal lengths of motion or ranges of motion. So let's go ahead and take a complete body scan at the very end. Feel free to lay down and notice in your body, legs all the way from your feet, all the way up, how you're feeling, any differences. Allow the brain to integrate everything you've done in this class. Feel free to stay here longer, and I will rise up to close out and say thank you very much for watching, for joining me and allowing me to lead you in this practice. Namaste.